Hi, Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. The project today is going to feature the Adoring Hearts hybrid embossing folder. Now, I played around with this and I came up with a way that I'm going to demonstrate how you can emboss with embossing powder all these wonderful little hearts. So you can emboss these hearts using this hybrid folder, and then you can cut them out using this die, and then there's some other options here with the set as well. Well, when I sat down and I played around with the embossing folder and silver embossed these little hearts, I had to come up with a project that I could offer you to take these hearts to the next level. What can we do with these hearts in order to create a wonderful project? And I think I came up with it. So I'm going to reveal it in this envelope. Now this was inspired by Sam Calcutt of Mix Up Craft. It is called the Easy Turn and Fold card, and it doesn't involve any dies. It has a belly band, and it's a regular A2 card, but the magic is going to be here where you open up this belly band, and then you can see where I have these two little corners marked. Well, you pull this open and it explodes into, and that's why it's called a turn and fold card, because it explodes into this wonderful design that you can create. And here I've used all the little hearts and coordinating DSP to come up with congratulatory wedding card for a dear friend's son who recently was married. And you just push this back together, and again I'm going to show you how this works. It goes back into this wonderful fold, and this is an origami fold, so you kind of have to be careful on the number of layers you use. And I'm going to use, I don't have it right now, but I'm going to get a kind of a Velcro stick so that I can stick this belly band, and then I'm going to write my message on the inside. Isn't that beautiful? So that is our project for today, and that is going to be featuring the Adoring Hearts hybrid embossing folder, and we're going to need some Versamart ink. We're going to use some silver embossing powder. We're going to use our brayer from the mini catalog. I'm going to feature using the Layered Florals embossing folder. This is also featured in the mini catalog, as well as some DSP. Now I'm going to show you that for the DSP I chose, this is the Countryside Inn. Now I love blue and white, so I was inspired by this paper because it's so reminiscent of the Delft blue patterns from Europe that were inspired by the blue and white porcelain pottery from China. It's just a wonderful pattern to use. So that is what I used for this card. I'm also inspired by some other cardstock that is available to you during celebrations. Look at what you can do with, this is the Most Adored paper, and look at what you can do with this paper as a pattern. And you could emboss your hearts with gold and white. So that is another wonderful option. And of course you cannot leave out this paper, which is the Light and Airy. I mean, look at these beautiful patterns that you can use to come up with a card for this particular project. And look how nice. I mean, these will go just beautifully with that, or they'll go beautifully with that. Or you can also kind of combine a little bit of these colors as well. Now this is a retired paper, but I just kind of wanted to show you. Go to your stash, and look at what you have, but also take advantage of some of the wonderful patterns that are available under celebrations. Now this paper is free with a qualifying purchase of $50 before tax and shipping. This paper is free with a qualified purchase of $50 or more after tax and shipping. But then I wanted to show you this paper. Oh my gosh. This is the Poetic Expressions, and I think that this is what I'm going to use, and I'm going to go ahead and team this up again with boho blue and white. And there's some other patterns. I mean, there are just so many pretty patterns in this paper for you to explore for possible projects like the one we're doing today. Isn't that just gorgeous? Look at that. That is just so pretty. So this is going to be the paper we're going to be using, and I'm probably going to team it up. I think I can successfully team this up with some of this paper here, which is from the Countryside Inn. I think I can kind of team that up to kind of offer some contrast, because when you open this up you need at least a couple of patterns. I could even use this pattern as well to kind of go with my project, but I just love that pattern. I am such a fan of blue and white. This is our project. This was my prototype. This is the paper that I'm going to be using to put together our project for today. Now, besides the brayer, the Versamark, and our hybrid embossing folder, I'm going to be using a layered florals, and I am going to use the Adoring Hearts and the Lifetime of Love bundles. Now, the Adoring Hearts bundle includes the hybrid embossing folder and the dies, and this stamp set. And I use that for my sentiment, as well as this little sentiment here that says "Just for You." So that is also going to be included. Now I also want to add the Lifetime of Love bundle right here. Includes these beautiful dies, and this is the die set that I use to cut out this neat little medallion. I also use one of the circle dies from our deckled circles to cut out the circle that serves as kind of the medallion base. Then I've put the heart in the middle. So this is another bundle that is included as part of putting together this project that you will need. And of course you're going to need boho blue ink and some basic white cardstock to put it together. So I think those are all the pieces and parts that's going to be needed, and let's go ahead and get started. Begin by taking our embossing folder with the label side down and emboss it with the Versamark using the Versamark pad and our brayer. The cardstock is about 6 by 6 to cover the inside of our embossing folder, and then you just simply use the silver embossing powder on top of that design. And you can use the embossing buddy just to kind of keep any of the loose pieces from sticking, but I always have a little tape brush that I kind of work any particular areas that may have not stuck to the Versamark or may have gotten all over our image. I also kind of take the heat gun, you see I kind of rolled it over the entire image. That kind of helps to loosen any of the pieces, little particles that may have fallen outside of our images that we want to emboss. cut the pieces for our medallion, you're going to need the filigree die and a deckled circle die that fits the circumference of the filigree die. I'm cutting 2 pieces out of with basic white for the filigree die, and then 1 piece out of boho blue for the deckled circle, and that's going to provide our base for our medallion. You will find that the 2 pieces cut from the filigree die are very thin and delicate. So in order to layer them, I'm going to use Distress Collage Medium in the matte finish. I'm just going to pull in my silicone mat and take some of the Distress Collage Medium, and using a paintbrush, just go ahead and apply it over the top of the cardstock. And you want to make sure that you get a nice liberal amount on top of the cardstock. And then once you lay the next layer, it will dry to a clear matte finish. I'm also using it to apply the filigree to the base of our medallion here. It's just simply an option rather than using fine tip glue or any other glue application. Again, it dries matte and it dries clear and non-sticky. So it's just a good tool to have in your craft room. I opted to layer another piece of boho blue from the deckled circle die, and I'm going to apply the 3-in-1 glue so I can have a nice thick medallion for the front of my card. It's your choice, but I think it will work well. Okay, so we have our card blank, which is a basic white, and we just embossed our layer. And then this is the piece that we're going to fold up with our origami fold. And then our belly band is going to be, it's about 1 inch, a little bit over an inch, and it's 11 inches. And we're going to score that. And then of course we already have our piece right there. Okay, so let's put those aside, because now we're going to cut our turning piece. Now you can see that this measures 8 inches, and we're going to score it at 2, 4, and 6. And then we're going to score it down, but we're going to have to create this triangle here. So let me show you what that looks like as a pattern. So as a pattern, we're going to score 2, 4, 6, then we're going to turn it, we're going to score 2, 4, 6, but then on the center part, we're going to need a scoring tool, and we're going to create this diamond, and then we're going to build our folds. And let me bring in my scoreboard. Grab your stylus, and we're going to cut 2. We're going to do 6. We're going to turn it. We're going to do 2, and we're going to do 6. Now you're going to do 4 up to this first score line right here. We're going to turn it around, and you're going to do 4 right up to that score line right there. Okay, so I hope you saw that. I did 2 and 6 all the way down to the bottom, turned it, 2 and 6 all the way down to the bottom. Then I did 4 up to this first score line, and then I turned it all the way around and I did 4 to that first score line. And I think you can see the pattern there that we have. 2, 4, 6. I only scored the 4 down to that first score line, and then 2, 4, 6. You don't go to the middle. In the middle, we're going to have to create our diamond. Now here, because on both sides we got to score the 4 and go all the way down to that first score line. See, and there's our design, and we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We should have 12 squares, and then our large square in the middle. Okay, so now I'm going to hold on to my stylus, and I'm going to bring in my stamping piercing map, and I want a metal ruler. Let me just pull in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my stamping piercing map. It's going to kind of give me kind of what I need to do the indentation, the score channel, and I'm just going to go from 4 to 4, right? 2, 4, 6, so 4 to 4, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to run that there, and I'm going to run this all the way around that square. Okay, so you can see I've built the square all the way around. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to fold I'm just folding these, just kind of pinching these folds right here, and I'm doing it very gently because I don't want to crack my paper. Alright, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my ruler right here, and I'm just going to gently kind of fold these up right here. Alright, so once we have that, what you're going to do is we're going to, all of these, are going to be valley folds right here. Okay, you can see by our example, these are valley folds. Okay, so these are your valleys. So you're going to kind of pinch your valleys in, and then you're going to kind of push it together, and it's going to kind of twist in. So we're going to bring in this corner. We're going to bring in this corner. You see how that's starting to turn? So you want to bring this corner in. See how you can kind of close that up? And you want to make sure, I kind of look at my front to make sure, and then I kind of want to start locking in my folds. I'll turn this around and start locking in my folds. Then you can see, go ahead and pull that out, and then I can pull that back in. So let's do that again. Okay, so I made several of these because I just want to point out some things you need to be aware of. Now, you need to make sure that when you're doing your cutting and your scoring, you want to make sure that these are, lined up as square as possible. So this was kind of, my best one, but even it's still a little bit off. Okay, it's just a little bit off. And I also wanted to point out that if you're very heavy on the scoring, your paper will crack because I'm using Stampin' Up! Basic White. Okay, so just be careful, be very kind of light on the scoring. And if you are, then your paper won't crack. And this is actually the best one that kind of fits, looks like it's not, a little bit like this one here. That's just a little bit catawampus there. Now, I'm just going to kind of put this aside because I may use this, I don't know, but I just wanted to point out you have to be kind of careful with your cutting and your scoring to make sure that everything is lined up so that you get some nice pretty squares. This one being the best one is probably the one I'm going to use. And then this one I was a little heavy on the scoring, so I do have some cracked cardstock, even though I really don't notice that much when I pull it out. Well, I do a little bit here. So you just kind of have to be a little bit careful. And if it takes a couple of tries, you can see, go ahead and do it. Take some retired cardstock, take a piece of, printer paper, but kind of work with it and get your process down first. Okay, so here's our piece. We're going to open this up. Okay, and now we're going to begin to embellish. Now, what you're going to need for your layers is you're going to need 4 one pattern. You're going to need 4 another pattern. You're going to need 2 a third pattern. So you're going to need 3 patterns that are going to kind of go together, and then we're going to use our hearts to kind of fill in the other spaces. You'll also need a piece of cardstock, and I'm going to say that's about 2.5 by 2.5 squared, so that you can go ahead and stamp your sentiment and emboss it if you want to. You're going to need at least 3 patterns because you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to have 4 hearts. Okay, so you're going to need 10. 2 of those you're going to cut to make try, and then you're going to need 4 hearts. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut this. So these are going to go on our outside, okay, and that's going to sit on top of our card like this, and then we're going to have this over it like that. Okay, so that is our card. So let's go ahead and put these over here. All right, and our belly band over there. So now we're going to open this up. We're going to have, so then these are going to go at the corners. There, so that's pretty much how we're going to lay it out like that, and then I'm going to have my sentiment here in the middle. Let me put these aside and let's glue our pieces. I just want to bring to your attention that because this card kind of turns when you open it up, you want those corner pieces to not be directional cardstock. You want it to be non-directional. Now the inside pieces, like this piece I'm laying down here, is directional, but you can align that with the top and bottom because that's going to align with your sentiment when you put it in the middle. But the corner pieces should be non-directional cardstock. And you kind of want to mark, so we want to mark this, that these are our two corners right here. Okay, so I just take a pencil and I just want to mark those two corners so I know what corners I'm going to pull. Then I'm going to bring in I'm using the Adoring Hearts bundle for my sentiment, and I'm going to do a stamp off technique with boho blue, and then my sentiment is going to be stamped with Night of Navy. Okay, so you can see I kind of stamped that full strength, and this one I just did the stamp off technique. So then look how nice that looks right there. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? It just gives a really nice look. Now, what I'm going to do for this edge, if I don't use dies, I just like to use a 1/8 score edge. This adds a nice border. And then that is going to go right there, and I'm going to glue that down. That is just beautiful. And then push that together, and I have completed that. Now I'm going to pull in. This is going to go there, and I'm going to glue that down because I want this to be a bit stiff. So I'm going to glue this down. I'm using the 3-in-1 glue so that I can have a nice stiff foundation for my base card. Then I want to take this. Okay, from the Adoring Hearts dies, go ahead and grab this little label piece here. And in order to stamp the Just For You, you're going to have to cut this out first, and then you're going to be able to align your stamp so that it fits across that label perfectly. Okay, so now we're going to take our piece, and I marked it right here that this is the top. Now something I did is I marked these corners. I marked these corners with these two pieces. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to pull out a couple of shapes from the Adoring Hearts dies. I'm going to cut two shapes out of boho blue, and I'm going to use them to mark our corners. Okay, so I've kind of marked those two corners. So you want to go ahead and pull out your belly band, and we're going to score that at 3.5 and about at 7 11/16, and that gives us enough room to kind of fold around our corner folds. And then we're going to add some glue just to that diamond shape in the back and adhere that nicely and ensure that all the creases are nice and tight. To attach our corner fold and belly band to the front of our card, you just want to apply glue to that diamond shape and center it in the front of your A2 card. Let that dry. Don't open it until it's totally dry. Then you can begin to assemble your belly band and your medallion by just adding some glue to the front of your belly band. Again, make sure all those pieces have dried before you try to operate the opening of our corner folds. And then add our little label sentiment just for you, just below one of the wonderful little hearts. Enjoy the music while you see how we assemble the rest of the card and stamp our sentiment on the inside. Okay, so here is our card. We have our belly band and we have our corners marked right here so that we can open it up and it pops open with this wonderful inside. So I received my Velcro pieces, and this is just simply Velcro sticky back. It's only it's a small amount because it's primarily meant for crafting, but inside you're going to have the Velcro kind of hooks, and then here's the little fuzzy part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to adhere the Velcro tab to the back of our card, but I've also gone ahead and I've used one of my pens and I've written here, place thumbs right here where we have mark, and gently pull corners. So I want to go ahead and put this either here and here so that when someone opens it up, they have the directions of what they need to do. So because I have to put a Velcro sticker there, I don't think I'm going to have enough room. Or I could go ahead and put one there, place thumbs, right? Place thumbs there. So I'm gonna add that, and I think it just adds you know, that's something a little bit nice. Okay, and then gently pull corners. Alright, so now we have a really nice directions for, place thumbs and gently pull corners. Then I'm going to go ahead and close this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Velcro pieces, and I'm going to grab the hook side, put it on the little fuzzy side, and then I'm going to pull it apart so they're basically connected. And then I'm going to place this right here and fold this over, and boom, I should have my Velcro piece is nicely stuck to my belly band, and I have my directions. So that is that. Now I've already attached this Velcro piece to this belly band. I have a much wider belly band, you can see on this, which is my prototype, so I can write that right there, which I'm going to go ahead and update that, and then I can close that, and then I can have my greeting on the inside. So you can see how beautiful this turned out. Here's our greeting, wishing you a lifetime of love and happiness, and I'm using the Adoring Hearts. Let's see, no, actually I'm using a lifetime of love for the sentiment and for the flowers, and I use the Adoring Hearts for the just for you and for the celebrating you that goes in the middle. Okay, so there are those examples. Now let me show you something else I was working on as another example. Here is another example of a card using some different DSP, and this DSP is called Softly Stippled, and this is from Celebrations. Now look how beautiful these colors are here. These are the 3 colors that I used for this card that I'm showing you now. And here is the outside, and you can see I've already marked the corners, the little flowers, and then we're just going to pull this open. Let's see, let me do that again. We're going to pull it open, and here is the inside of this card. You are most loved. And here are my different patterns. Now, as I said in my video, you need to make sure that you have non-directional cardstock. You can have directional cardstock here for your inside, but you should have non-directional cardstock, because when you push this together, it shouldn't matter how these squares land, as when they're pulled apart. And I guess I could have done those corners there as probably the corners I needed to mark. Okay, but you go ahead and you can pull that apart. There's our inside. You can see how nice that came out. And now we're going to attach our medallion. Now I want to show you some dies that are featured in the new mini catalog that I think are to die for. Now these are the everyday detail dies, and these are the thoughtful expressions dies, and these dies go with this DSP collection that I pulled from to make this card. And I just wanted to show you just how absolutely lovely these worked out. Now here I used for this one, let me just go ahead and zoom in here. Now using the everyday detail dies, I went ahead and I cut my medallion background to fit this center die right here. And then I stamped using, and I believe this is Pool Party, I went ahead and stamped that heart with the Adoring Hearts stamp, and then I used my little heart that I silver embossed right there. So I could use that as a choice for my medallion. Or this other one, these other dies here, oh, these are just gorgeous. And see the little flowers? Well, those are the little flowers that I used for these corners. But what I did is I cut one in basic white and then one in Pool Party, and then I can go ahead and I can put this heart right in the middle, and then that can be my medallion for the middle of my card. And I think I'm going to go with this one. I think this is the prettiest. So let me just go ahead and we're going to pop this up on dimensionals. Let me grab. So we're going to pop, and I want to kind of line this up so I kind of have my heart like that. So we're going to pop that up on dimensionals, and then I'm going to grab my Velcro dots, and I want to, this particular package has them separated, so I'm just going to go ahead and put them together. They may be different in other brands, but I'm using Velcro brand. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and fold that over like that. Now you'll notice that I do have some extra here, so I can go ahead and cut that. Hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the first thing I want to do is I want to put glue on the medallion to adhere it to the belly band. I'm going to put that right there, and I'm kind of centered that nicely like that. Then I'm going to take my two-sided Velcro here, and I'm just going to place it probably right there, and then I'm going to go ahead and close my belly band, and then I can go ahead and open it up. And then I'm just going to grab a piece of cardstock and my pen, and I'm going to write my little comment here that says, and then look at the inside of our card. I've turned this into a Mother's Day card, and I used the stamp off technique again, using that wonderful heart stamp from the Adoring Hearts in Pool Party. This stamp is from the Heartfelt Hello, which is free from Celebrations. So there you go. In just a few easy steps, you can create this fold and turn card with just some cardstock and some of the products that are available in Celebrations to create this lovely card. It really takes advantage and showcases the embossing folder from the Adoring Hearts, as well as all the lovely dies that come with it. And if you get the bundle, then you get this wonderful stamp set that we used to include this wonderful filigree heart, as well as the different sentiments and dies that we use. In addition, we use the Lifetime of Love bundle. Again, this is in the new mini catalog, to include this wonderful filigree die to create our medallion, as well as some wonderful sentiments for the inside of our card, turning it into a congratulatory wedding card. Or you can use the Heartfelt Hellos, which is free in celebrations with a $50 qualifying order after tax and shipping, to create it into a Mother's Day card using this embossing folder to create this really beautiful background. All of these products are available on my online store. If you haven't already, please hit like. All products are available on my online store. If you are a demonstrator, please support my channel by hitting like and share and leave a comment. This is Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com, wishing you a wonderful day and happy stamping.